Hi, everybody. Dr. Hooten here at Hooten Family Healing Center. In this video, short video, I want to encourage us all to step our game up in terms of our physical health. Spiritual, if you need help there, you can always reach out to us. But I'm talking physically. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, or at least one. Not too long ago, I was in the hospital with a young guy, he's in his 40s, who had been diabetic. His blood sugar's out of control, high blood pressure. And he and his wife had come to see us, but they never really got on board. They didn't keep their adjusting schedule. They didn't change what they ate. They certainly didn't exercise or do any of the five, what we call 5 essentials. And quite predictably, he kept getting worse and worse. And I got a panicked phone call one day. He started feeling bad and throwing up and got pretty severe, so they went to the hospital, where they found out his blood sugar had shot up to over 1,000. Thankfully, this guy was alive. He didn't die right on the spot, but his blood sugar was sitting there over 1,000. And so I got that, the worst phone call. Can you please come help? It was, things had gone way too late. So I went up there, just seeing if I could do anything. And first thing right off the bat, I got into the ICU, and they had pudding on this guy's lunch table. So here's a diabetic guy, well overweight, high blood pressure and everything else, and they had pudding on his cart. So that should tell you a little bit about the state of affairs right now in their healthcare system. More importantly, parts of his family that were there that I had never met before. And when I came in, so the wife had asked me to come in. When I came in, this other part of the family looked at me as if I was Satan himself. And they were saying things, especially this one sister who was an attorney. She was saying, "You had your chance with him. You failed him." She was just throwing all these things at my way. And clearly, the medical system had failed this guy for decades. His own behavior was failing him for decades. And I guess I could take some responsibility for not reaching him and being more direct with him. But clearly he had done this to himself. And I wanted to share that part of the story with you because of this. You guys are all here taking care of yourself and working your way into more of a healthy lifestyle, and that is awesome, and we love seeing the transformations around you, around here. But I know what happens out there in the world. You walk out of here, and there's friends of yours, there's family members of yours who worship the medical system. They think these doctors and these drugs can do no wrong. Now, in this guy's case, he had taken blood pressure medicine. He started with one blood pressure medicine 20 years before when he was in his 20s. Then his blood sugar went up, so he started taking some metformin, that the diabetes drug that does nothing but kill part of your liver. So he started on these 2 drugs, and then it was a 3rd drug and a 4th drug, and clearly the system was failing him from day one. And nobody telling him how to eat. So his family had seen this whole thing, and he continued to put on all this weight, and then he landed in the ICU. And it's like the Stockholm Syndrome, where the kidnapper or the person who was kidnapped falls in love with her captor. That's what it reminded me like. Here's this family watching their brother fall apart at the hands of medicine, at their own lifestyle, and they still were going to love the medicine and love what he had done. They weren't going to accept any responsibility for what he had done to himself. And it was mind-blowing. And that's one out of many episodes of this. Just so you know, in that particular story, I held up this pudding cup and I was shaking it like this. I said, "What do you think this is doing to him right now?" I was vibrating on a whole nother level. And then sure enough, I looked at what they had hanging in his arm in the IV bag, and they had glucose hooked up to this guy's arm who was in the hospital for elevated blood sugar. It was like the Twilight Zone. That's what's out there in the world. So when I say we need to step our game up, this is what I mean. Why do we do that? Because the world is getting worse physically. Today, November 8th, 2017, there are more people and more children taking a medication today than there were yesterday. There are far more people, far more children taking drugs today than there were 10 years ago. And if we don't step our game up and take extra good care of ourselves so that we're radiating all this energy and this vitality and this thriving life, then how could we possibly infect or affect the people out there in the world, whether it's our friends and family or anybody that we run into in the store? You know, I ran into somebody at the radio station. I was recording the radio show this morning, and we ran into somebody, and just the infectious nature of what I was saying really got her attention, and she is already saying, yeah, you know, I've got to change X, Y, and Z. You can make a difference. So how do you do that? Number one, keep your adjusting schedule. Get after it. Keep those adjustments. All right, if you miss an adjustment, your body starts going backwards 10, 15, 20% right off the bat, especially in this acute part of your care where you're supposed to be here multiple times a week. You miss 2 adjustments, your body's going to start losing 50% of the progress that it's already made. So keep your adjusting schedule. Do your home care. Okay, this needs to be a nightly and morning routine, just like brushing your teeth. I'll give you a taste. What I do every morning, and I'll get up at 4:45, actually wake up, believe it or not, and I'm pretty groggy. It's not like I go run a mile or something, but I go out into the garage. I have this little area set up, and I wobble. I do the wobble exercises that you guys do here. And then I have some PVC pipe that I lay over to stretch my neck out while I'm singing and praying and worshiping. That's my morning routine every single day. My spine is in fantastic shape now because I've been doing that for the last 5 to 6 years consistently. Step your game up. Get into the mindset, I need to be taking care of my spine on a daily basis. Secondly,